Hello, everyone. Fishing with Bam here, and I've been out of the pocket for a little bit, but coming back in, got things organized, and figure what a better way to start this season off than by talking about a section of the bass fishing tournament world that doesn't really get a lot of attention. Um, and that is the big bass tournaments that are out there. Now, they're obviously talked about, but they just don't get the publicity that all the other tournament trails do get. And I know that has a lot to do with like sponsors and, you know, things like that. But I know a lot of people say, well, the interest, there's just not that much interest in them. But I mean, some of these tournaments are huge, uh, huge money for one being dropped on them. But not only that, there's this huge numbers. You're talking thousands upon thousands of boats fishing the lake, which some people, obviously have an issue with, but that's just crazy internet people. But these tournaments, I think one of the reasons they don't get a lot of publicity, maybe, is that there's not, some people just don't know about them. There was one I found out about last year that I missed, and I found out after the fact that it was even on the lake that on Table Rock. I live on Table Rock, and I was at I was over at Extreme Outdoors, the tackle shop out there, and I was just, randomly talking to the guy behind the counter, and he was asking if I was fishing the Big Bass Challenge, and I'm like, "I've never even heard of that," you know? Never heard of the Big Bass Challenge, and I fish all the big bass tournaments around there. So it got me thinking that, well, I bet, there's people just don't know about these things, and because they don't get a lot of publicity, it's like a double-edged sword. They don't get a lot of publicity, a lot of people don't know about them. They don't A lot of people don't know about them, so they don't get a lot of publicity, but they do have kind of like a cult following. Um, and it could be regional. It could be a regional thing. I don't know, because there's a few tournaments around here that, I mean, everybody knows about. People come from all around the world to fish it. Um, and then there's a couple of big bass tournaments that are, well, there's two that I'm going to talk about today that are kind of roaming around America to certain lakes. And then there's two that are like regional to certain spots that are huge. So I figured we bring them up, talk about them. Hopefully, some people that don't know about them will be introduced and get into this world of big bass tournaments because I think they're great. I think it's a good time to go out there with your friends and relax, have a good time, and just hope you get lucky because that's what big bass tournaments are about, is getting lucky. I know a lot of people go out there to these tournaments and they're like, "Oh, I'm practicing for it." Well, I don't know. There's an argument to be made on that. If practicing for a big bass tournament, maybe you're consistently trying to find, big schools, and then in that school you're looking for a fish as a money fish. I mean, that I can see, but trying to catch the biggest fish in that lake in a heavily pressured time, I don't know if you can practice for that. There obviously will be disagreements on this, but I don't think you can. Now, some people use it like me. I use it as an excuse, like, "Oh, I'm going to go practice for this tournament," and actually, I just want to go fishing. So maybe a lot of people are doing that. They just don't want to admit to it yet. So, I'll get into it. The first one I want to talk about is a new one that I just found out about, and I just checked it before I started this to make sure that it was still going to be happening the next year. And sure enough, the 2023 dates are announced. So I'm going to bring that up and we're going to talk about it. For those that are just listening, I'll do my best to explain it, but I'll also link everything in the description for everybody on all of the channels. That way you can, just click on it, look through it yourself, see if there's anything I might have missed in the description, and go from there. So, the first one I want to talk about is the Strike King Big Bass Challenge. Now, this one I just found out about. I had no clue that this was happening last year, and I think last year was the first year for it. But sure enough, there's a 2023 dates have been announced, and they've got a pretty good partnership. I mean, obviously Strike King, so they're the Lose is actually underneath that as well. But they've partnered up with Black Rifle Coffee Company and a couple other places or a couple other places as well. Businesses. Lucas Oil, I think, is one of them. Um, so this one's kind of similar to all the other big bass tournaments that they are a this one's a 1 day tournament, and you can weigh in a fish every other hour. Then that's pretty much how all the other big bass tournaments are. Some are different, some are every hour, some are every 2 hours, but this one is every other hour, and they're doing 6 locations around the country, it says, and family-friendly, competitive one-day events, which this is the only one-day tournament out of all the big bass tournaments. This is the one-day tournament, which is that's a little bit harder, is to go out there on day 1 and, you know, catch the biggest bass. 'Cause of the other ones, you have a couple days to, like, see where you can do, First day, you're always like, "Alright, that's kinda my practice day," whatever, and then the second day, you really go at it, but one days are kinda difficult, but so, how this one works is, depending on the lake you're on, there is a weigh-in period. Do they show it on here? Well, I know it's every other hour. I'll look and see on there, but so on this one, it says that the biggest fish weighed in the tournament will win a total boat makeover package, which is a $5,000 gift card for use on Strike King and Lose products. That's huge. $5,000. I mean, you can completely get you a whole new setup of all Lose, rods and reels, which are very good rods and reels. And then whatever you have left over, I mean, for $1,000, I mean, some people take this stuff to the extreme, but you give me $1,000, I'll get their medium level tournament reels and rods and be completely fine with that. And I'll probably you could probably get 5 reels and rods for $1,000, good reels and rods for $1,000, and then you got $4,000 left over for tackle, or you could go all out and get their best stuff. Some people will, you know, say, "Well, those aren't worth it." I've been using their like $29 rod or reels or no, they're $29 rods that you got to bet like a Walmart for years, and they're absolutely great. Never had a problem with them. The rods that I spend, like, I got one rod, I won't mention the company's name, but I spent over $100 on this rod, and it lasted normal wear and tear, not even 4 months, broke, you know? And it's like, well, these rods I've had were like $29 at Walmart, and the sensitivity feels exactly the same as the expensive rods I've used, but these have lasted way longer. So it is what it is. People will argue the death over that kind of stuff, um, but anyway, so 5,000. You win if you catch the biggest bass of that tournament, you are going to get a $5,000 gift card to Strike King and Lose. That's huge. I could definitely spend $5,000 at Strike King and Lose. I'd buy a ton of red eye shad. I'd buy some 6XDs. I'd buy all new rods and reels. It'd be great. It'd be a good time. So the other way that these tournaments run for the Big Bass Challenge is a first place of each period, which is every other hour. So first through fifth get paid, and the way this one is they've got a 700. If you catch the biggest bass in that hour, you're gonna get $750, and that's if there's 200 and less boats, or 199 and less boats. If there's more than 200 boats in that tournament, you're going to get an extra $250 bonus. So what's that math? $1,000, right? That's pretty good for 1 day. Second place is 450, third's 300, fourth place 225, fifth place is 150. They might think that's not a lot of money for a tournament, and some of these people will argue that to death as well, but it is plenty of good money because I think that yeah, the pre-registration, if you register the day before the tournament prior, I think registration opens up this month. It's only $75. So you're if you get the 5th place payout in that hour, you're doubling your money. That's more than any of these local tournament trails will offer, you know? Now, don't hold that to me, but I'm pretty sure that if you pay some of these tournament trails, you're paying like 200, 250 entry fees, buddy, with your buddy, and you might maybe if you get the last paycheck in that in the cut, you might get your money back for the last place. So last place here, you're doubling your money. So that's good. So 10 10 weighed fish prize drawings awarded each period. So every person who weighs in a fish, they're going to do a prize drawing that gives you a Black Rifle Coffee prize package and a Yeti prize package. You get a cooler. That's pretty cool. The overall big bass prizes for the day get a Black Rifle Coffee prize package and a Yeti prize package on top of the 750 that you get if there's less than 200 boats and the 5,000 or the $5,000 gift card for Strike King and Lose. That's for one day of fishing. Not a bad deal. Not a bad deal at all. So if you are in these areas I'm about to read off, absolutely get out there, go fishing, enjoy it. So their first tournament's actually this month, January 28th. Um, Pro night, there's a pro there who they got going there. Jamie Caldwell will be at this one. It's at Kissimmee, Florida on January 27th is the on-site registration pro night. Um, Jamie Caldwell will be there. And the next day, you know, that's the tournament day. And if I click, it probably won't pop up. But if you click on the information sheet on here, I'm pretty sure I did it earlier and it was a Word document flyer, and it explains the hours of weigh-in and all that stuff. And from what I saw from all these, when I looked at it earlier, it was every other hour you could weigh in a fish. So like from 7 to 8, you can weigh in a fish. From 11 or from 10 to 11, you can weigh in a fish, or something like that. It was every other hour. Um, Now the next one after that is on Kentucky Lake in Paris, Tennessee is where they're gonna have the, registration, and that's gonna be on was that May 1st? Tournament's gonna be on May 2nd, and their pros that are gonna be there. Then the pro night is John Garrett and Tristan McCormick. Not bad. Uh, Same month in Texas, Eagle Mountain Lake, Texas. I don't even you know what? I'm not even familiar with that lake. Down in Fort Worth. So pro night is on the 21st of May. Tournament is on the 22nd. Or is it April? I'm sorry. I said May. It's April. Um, yeah, so it's in April. Deal, $75 the day prior to the tournament. On tournament day, it's $85. Denny Brower will be there. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good one. In May, this time in May on Lake Murray, it'll be on May 20th. Tournament's May 21st. No one, no pro has been named yet, so we'll see how that goes. I bet that time of the year it's gonna be hard to get someone out there on Lake Murray. It might be a local guy that they get to do that, but, and then after that, you get June 10th on-site registration, June 11th, Table Rock Lake, my neck of the woods. Greg Bohannon is gonna be there. So if you do this tournament, I will be out there. I'll see you guys there. It's at Kimberling City is where it's saying it's going to go. So that's probably the Port of Kimberling City where they're going to be doing that one. I bet Extreme Outdoors is going to have something going on, uh, on the pro night pre registration as well. Good people there. and then the last one of the year will be at on Lake Hartwell, and this one's pretty cool, if you ask me. Um, it's in September, September 16th, on-site registration, and the 17th is the tournament, but on the 16th, you will have Andy Montgomery and Marty Robson there. That's awesome. Those are 2 huge, name pros right there that are gonna be out there. Definitely worth seeing, definitely worth going to. So this one's a new one, like I said, this was a new tournament that I just found out about, and, it's called the Strike King Big Bash Challenge. Tell you right now, that logo design, spot on. That's pretty cool, and definitely worth checking out. I mean, 75 bucks if you pay prior, if you pay early, $75 to, go out there, fish, you get lucky, catch a big bass, you're gonna make some money. There wasn't that many people fishing the table rock one. Like I said, last year it wasn't really known. At least I didn't know about it. So definitely go check this out if you're around one of these lakes and have a good time. I bet there's probably going to be more information to come out on this stuff. So Um, I'll probably put a video out. I might make a video on fishing these this year. I don't know. See how that goes. So that's the smallest one. That's the smallest one you're gonna deal with. And I think it's fun. So kind of in line with this one, I'm gonna switch over to the Big Bass Tour, the Cabela's Bass Pro Big Bass Tour. Now this one, I love this one. Um, this one is goes all around the country, well, all around the East Coast, like most tournaments do. Um, this one is a 3-day tournament, but you can sign up for as many days as you want. You could do 1 day, 2 day, or 3 day. So it's a 3-day tournament, and for this one, I believe it's every hour. Let's see. I'll just click on the first one. Let's see. Yeah, this one is weigh-in times 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, all the way up to 3. So every hour you can weigh in a fish here. And each hour pays out to 10 people. So first place is 1,000, 10th place is $100. And the overall winner will get a nitro. This year's a Z18. I wonder if it's different per lake. Because last year it was a Z19. Let's see. We'll go to Table Rock. This is like this one is like KVD's usually there. Yeah, it's a pretty big one. So no, Z18 again. Yeah, they dropped it. Well, things are more expensive because last year the Z19 was the grand prize, and I think it was like 49,000 was a grand prize total. Um, this year, yeah, Z18, and they're up to 52,000 this year. Helix 9, Helix 8, yeah, that's little small, little small, little changes going on this year, but it's still fun. I mean, still, you're winning a boat if you win this one. Um, and this one's different because each place that they go to, um, some of them are different. Like Lake Conroe is a 4-day tournament, and that's going to be a $325 entry fee, which is high, but it's not bad because some of these 1-day tournaments that are, team tournaments, you're paying $250 to fish. So 3-day or 4-day tournament for $325. You are one of the first, I think it's like 100 people or something like that. You get an Abu Garcia rod this year. Oh, it's a combo. It's a Vengeance Bay combo. So they dropped that down too. Usually you would get a real nice lose reel or lose rod, but they changed that. That happens. People are like, oh, they're getting cheap. Well, no, they're not getting cheap. They're changing, sponsors are changing contracts. That's all it is. So this one's a lot. So I'm not going to go on all the details on it, but you've got February 10th through 12th, Harris Chain of Lakes, Florida. March 2nd through 5th is Lake Conroe in Texas. March 10th through the 12th is Clark Hills, Lake Georgia. That Lake Conroe was that 4-day. March 24th to 26th, Lake Norman in North Carolina. March 31st through April 2nd is Lake Eufaula, Alabama. This one kind of breaks my heart because it's overlapping this April 14th through 16th is Table Rock Lake. That's where I'm at. And it's overlapping another big bass tournament. So that's going to be that's a kind of a bummer, but I'll talk about that later. So April 14th through 16th, Table Rock Lake. KBD will be there. Will he be there? Maybe. Sometimes he's there. I don't know. Maybe. Then you got Lake Murray, April 28th through 30th. May 5th through 7th is Spring Smith Mountain Lake, Virginia. May 19th to the 21st is Chickamauga. July 28th to the 30th, St. Lawrence. August 4th through 6th is La Crosse, Mississippi River section. September 29th through the 1st is Fall Smith Mountain Lake, Virginia. There's a Spring Smith Mountain Lake and a Fall Smith Mountain Lake. Interesting. Um, October 6th through 8th, you got Douglas Lake, and then October 12th through the 15th, which is a 4-day, is Lake Gunnersville. And sometimes, yeah, it says right here, Gerald Swindle's Big Bass Classic. So G-Man might be down there during that time, which would be nice. So this one's cool because every hour you can weigh in a fish, and they pay up to 10 places every hour. And that's, 3-day, 4-day tournaments. So if you got 4 days off, you can make multiple checks during this tournament. A lot of people do. They get on that school, might not have the biggest fish in there, but they're money fish. So they can get in there and they can catch a limit in the morning of fish and then weigh them in throughout the day when they think they have a chance to, get in that higher payout of that hour. A lot of people they got like some Rain Man stuff going up there to see, when they are weighing fish. Should I keep this fish till the last hour, maybe the hour before last? They get wild with this stuff. So, um, it is neat too. This one you can register on a text system. I've registered with this almost, I would say, going on 10 years now. I still get the text from these guys. And it lets me know, well, the tournament link that you registered for. It'll tell you, you got 10 minutes to weigh in. 7 fish have been weighed in. They break it down so you know where you're sitting at in your boat. So you do like, do I need to run back to weigh in and weigh this fish or not? So that's pretty cool. So the G-Man one, that'd be cool to see. So they did drop the boat down. It's a Z18 this year, not a Z19, but you know, still it's a free boat. I should have said that, right? If you catch the biggest fish over that, the whole entire tournament, you get a boat, you get a Z18. So that's pretty good. And if you're out there, most people just sell that boat. A lot of people, unless you got a really bad boat and you're out there fishing and you do catch it, then obviously keep the Z18, but most people sell it. So then we're gonna get into that one. Is, all over. These next couple are more regional and they're bigger payouts and bigger payouts and stuff. Um, so this one is like local to Texas and it's the Sealy's Outdoors Big Bass Splash. Now this one I did fish about 5 years ago. I fished the one on Lake Fork. Um, this one's interesting too because they have a ton of prizes, which I'll look at to make sure it's still happened. It's still the same as before. But just so you guys, just so you know, this one has 5 tournaments that are going to happen this year. Sam Rayburn in April, April 21st through the 23rd. Toledo Bend, May 19th to 21st. Gunnersville, so Alabama and Texas, June 9th through the 11th. Lake Fork, September 15th through the 17th. And then the end of the year fall shootout, Sam Rayburn, October 7th and 8th. And these, like the last one I'm going to talk about, um, have all these other deals that going on. Like you got these other bonuses, like the t-shirt bonus. Like if you get for them, if you weigh in a fish and it makes money in that hour, and you've got the Sealy Outdoor Bass Splash, Big Bass Splash t-shirt on, it'll double your money for that hour. So if you get, $100, you get 200 bucks. You got your insurance cars. It pays two additional places. So if you were knocked out of the money and you've got a bonus card, it'll pay. You can get if you get knocked out of the last payout, if you got that bonus card, you'll get a payout. So that's pretty neat. You got the early bird deadlines. So if you register before a certain day, you'll be eligible for the early bird drawings. So this one, let's see. Let's just click on Sam Rayburn because that's the first one that's going to happen this year, April 21st to 23rd. So with this one, the grand prize over those 3 days, if you catch the biggest bass over those 3 days, you win a Phoenix 21 PHX, awesome boat, right? Equipped with Minn Kota, Humminbird, Navionics, Power Pole. Also, you get a Ram truck, a 2023 Ram truck, and $10,000 cash. That's humongous. That's a huge, huge payout. Um, that $10,000 cash is probably paying your taxes on those things. So fun, you know. But so, anyways, first place of the tournament will get that. And then second place is 20 grand, third place 15 grand, fourth place 10, fifth place 5 grand. And that is overall. That's the overall one. Then you got the hourly payouts, and they pay 15 places every hour, right? I think this is every hour, each hour of the tournament day, right? 7 a.m. all the way out to 2 p.m. All right. You got 15 places that they pay, and there's heaviest bass of the hour is $2,500, and then second 1,500, third 1,000, all the way down to the 15th bass of that hour will get $300. Um, that's huge. That's a lot of money. The only thing I don't like about their tournaments is if you show up and you weigh in a fish, which I did the last time I fished these tournaments. You weigh in a fish, you got to stay there. So if you show up at, you know, s- say you're there at the 9 to 10 weigh in hour, and you show up at 9 to weigh in a fish, you got to sit there for that entire hour. And then at the end of the hour, you'll know if you want it or not. That weigh in, which it's neat, it's a spectacle, that's for the people in the crowd that are, there watching how things go, and then Sealy himself is there, he used to be, I don't know if he still is, but, um, and he's a fun guy talking, you know, he he keeps the crowd engaged, but it was just for me for these other tournaments, you weigh in the fish, you get a slip, and then you leave, and I like that because I wanna get back out there and fish, obviously, and most people really do. But, for this one, you gotta sit there and you gotta wait, and that's like a huge I mean, you're missing time fishing. So, you gotta wait, hey, make sure maybe to wait in at the last, 10 minutes or whatever, but if you're in line for longer than that period, you're in the next period, so it gets a little chaotic. It's ran well, though. It really is ran well. They're pretty strict down there, though, when it comes to, like, they wanna make sure you show your insurance and um, your license and all that stuff. They got the game wardens there. The other tournaments, not so much. Um, they'll the all these tournaments do lie detectors. Last year, from what I don't know about the Big Bass Challenge because I didn't fish it. But all the other tournaments they did, they X-rayed the fish. They did lie detectors of the biggest fish, and that were in there to make sure that it's all up on the up and up. But this one, that they're checking licenses, which all the other ones you have to have a license. obviously. But here, when you weigh in a fish, you're checking the license. The other tournaments, they only check it if you win it, if you win money. Um, so make sure you have your, you know, checks in a row there, or your chicks, your ducks, whatever they want to call it. So this one, yeah, they're a little bit more strict. Game warden's there, and when I was there, a guy weighed in a fish, and he didn't have a Texas license. And no, I'm taking it back. He did have a Texas license. He weighed in a fish that was over the slot limit. So on the fork, it has to be within the slot. So I forget what it was. It was like up to 12 inches you could weigh in a fish, but then after that, you can't weigh in a fish unless it's more than like 18 inches or something like that. I could be completely wrong. It's been more than 5 years since I did that. So, um, but he weighed in like a 14-inch fish, which is a keeper everywhere else, right? And the game warden wrote him up right then and there, gave him a ticket. I was like, nope. So other ways you could win money on these tournaments is if you weigh in an exact weight of fish. So if it's a 3 pound, 4 pound, or 5 pound, and it's the first one that's weighed in of that day, you get $5,000 um, payout. So if you weigh in the first on this first 3 pounder, first 4 pounder, first 5 pounder of each day of the tournament, you get $5,000. So that's huge. They got an elimination drawing as well. So everybody who signed up for that tournament will be put into a drawing to win an 819 Pro, Phoenix 819 Pro, which is a great boat. I had one. Good boat. Then you got your early bird drawings and your open drawing, which was that? They're giving away a trolling Fortrex. Who has Fortrexes anymore? Probably one of the intuitive angling cultists that you gotta use a Zepco. You gotta have a Zepco to fish. Those guys might be like, yeah, give me one of them Fortrexes when everyone else is, you know, we're past that. It's past that stuff. Then you got your bonus shirt and your bonus card. So if I'm not mistaken, the other ones, with the one I did with Lake Fork, it gave away a more than a truck. No, they're doing a 721 this year and a truck. I wonder if the shootout. No, 919 Pro. So each one of these tournaments, the payouts are different. They're still like high. Like the shootout at the end of the year is a 2 day. They're only paying 10 places every hour. And that one is $1,000 is the most. The fork, that one's still paying about the same as the other one, but you're getting a 721 Pro, which is still okay. I'll take that. Their exact weight bass is a little different. Um, because it's a slot lake. So, but so they're 3 day, 265 for a 3 day. Still a lot, but if you weigh in a fish, you're going to make your money back almost. Actually, you will. If you are the lowest paying person in that time slot, 15th place, $300. So you'll get 265 as entry fee for 3 days, so you'll get your money back. Um, Fun, but they're more of a spectacle. Like I said, they're more about the award ceremonies and all that stuff, which isn't bad. It's fun. It's just a different way to do things. So that's so right now you got three different choices for big bass tournaments that you might not know of, and I know I'm long winded right now talking about everything, but the last one we're going to talk about, and this is my favorite, is the Big Bass Bash, Anglers in Action, Big Bass Bash. Now this one I've been fishing since more than 10 years now, and they've just been bigger and bigger and bigger every year. The amount of people that fish this tournament is ridiculous. I think last year, and somebody can check me on this, there was more than 4,000 people signing up, more than 4,000 entries. And And if that's just 2 people in a boat, you can have more than 2 people in a boat, but just say it's 2 people in a boat. There's 2,000 boats fishing that tournament on that lake for 2 days on Lake of the Ozarks. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. But that one, they do pay $100,000 for the biggest bass of the weekend and a lot more. So for this one, Lake of the Ozarks, they do a fall bass, they do a spring and a fall bash. April 15th to the 16th this year, and then October 7th and 8th. But they also do Grand Lake in June. So June 3rd and 4th is Grand Lake. Each one of these was going to pay out $100,000 along with a boat, not with the biggest bass, but they pay out $100,000 to the person with the biggest fish, and then they give away a boat and a drawing to anyone who enters. But we'll get into that on the more details. So with this one's a little bit more engaging. All right, there's a lot more weigh-in spots than the other tournaments. The other tournaments only have like one spot you can go to weigh in for your fish. Here you've got, I think, five. It could change because every now here and there they get a different weigh-in location, but I think it's five weigh-in stations all around the lake. So that way, if you're only fishing one spot at the lake, you ain't got to make a 60-mile run back to the weigh-in spot. You just go to wherever the closest weigh-in spot is to you, and you weigh in your fish there. So for them, it's every other hour, or is it? It's every 2 hours is the weigh in. So every 2 hours, you can weigh in one fish. So 6 to 9, 9 to 11, 11 to 1, 1 to 3. You can weigh in a fish. So what's that? 4 weigh in periods. But each weigh in period, they pay 45 spots. So 45 payouts every hour. From first place gets 1,500 all the way down to 45th place gets 190, which is the entry fee. So 2-day entry fee is $190 for that tournament. Not bad. $190, 45th place. So if you weigh in one of the 40, you weigh in a bass, and your bass just happens to be within the top 45 of that hour, of those 2 hours, you're going to get a payout. Along with that, obviously the overall is going to be $100,000. Second place is going to be 20,000. Third place 10,000. Fourth place 5 overall. They also have other payouts too. You got a shirt bonus. So if you are the 46th person, you get bumped out and you're 46th person, but if you got a t-shirt, the Big Bass Bash t-shirt, you're going to get paid. It's always worth getting. And they're very generous with those t-shirts. At least they have been in the past. The early bird drawing, if you register before the tournament, I believe the cutoff's like a week or 2 weeks. It'll say on there. On this one, April 16th. No, I'm sorry. I don't know. I'll have to look. Ah, right there, April 3rd. So if you register for April 3rd for the spring tournament, you'll be in the early bird drawing, which will give 12 anglers. They'll make a drawing. 12 people will get a $500, which my buddy Roy got one year. So, and he weighed in a fish. So he weighed in a fish, got a check for weighing in fish. Then he got um the early bird. So, he got an extra $500 on that, which just so happened that year for me, I weighed in a fish, got, you know, that check. But then I also weighed in an exact number fish. And then that year I did that. The exact weight fish was an extra $500 too. So, and they used to do that for every exact weight fish. I don't know if they still do that this year, but I will see. Yep, there it is right there. Every angler that weighs in an exact 3 pound or 4 pound bass wins $500. So that's always awesome. I think that one they used to do one where the radio station, I think it was like 297 or something. If you caught that weight, exact, they give you like a $50 gift card to Bass Pro or something like that. I don't know if they're still doing that this year. But they also got a ladies bonus, which if you check out if you read the comments on their post, which you shouldn't, the comment section's always filled with like the craziest intuitive anglers on there, right? Um, so the lady bonus, if you are the highest paying, if you're a woman, okay, a real woman who weighs in the largest fish, you get an extra $1,000 on top of wherever your fish actually places in the time slot as well. So if you say, a lady catches the biggest fish of the tournament, she's going to get $100,000 for catching the biggest fish. She's also going to get $1,500 for having the biggest fish in that time slot. And then she's going to get an extra $1,000 for being a lady. So amazing. Now, if you read the comment section, those people tend to believe that they only pay the woman who catches the biggest bass $1,000, and that's it. Only men can win the biggest prize, which is craziness. Um, Comment section's full of weirdos. Don't be a weirdo. They also give away a boat. Like I said, they do a raffle for a boat. Well, not a raffle. They do a giveaway, a drawing. So everybody who entered the tournament will get a drawing. Will be entered into the drawing to win a Phoenix 818, I believe. Yeah, 818. They also do a bunch of other things. They got all kind of vendors there. One year they had like this really awesome Japanese vendor. Um, that had this chatterbait that was amazing. Never seen one since then like it, and I lost that. I bought one, I lost it the same day. I was throwing it like crazy. I shouldn't have been, but I was. Awesome chatterbait. Um, so vendors are gonna be there, and they do other stuff too. Free food, and that line is super long. Before it wasn't too bad, but hopefully this year they change things up because when you go to the weigh-in at the end of the 2-day period for the grand prize weigh-in, um, man, with last year with 4,000 people there, it was crazy. Parking, it was all over the place, but it was big. It was a big tournament last year, last fall, and it's only gonna get bigger. So be prepared for that stuff. Is, you know, early, get yourself a place to stay on the lake, preferably a place that has a dock and a slip that you can put it in. Um, and, you know, what we did is we drove. Well, did we change? I think we moved around. No, yeah, we drove our boats there and just docked them, and then went over there and went to the thing, and then after the ceremony was over, we got on our boats and we drove back to where we stayed and then left. A lot of the places around the lake, they're very considerate of when the tournament ends. So, but they also do like this raffle. So if you pay in money for a raffle, how does it go? It goes towards a Lions Club, I believe, and everybody, you can buy raffle tickets. So however much money they raise in the raffle tickets, they draw a number for the raffle, and if that's your number, you get half of all that money that they raise, which last year was in the thousands. So that person walked away with like 1,000 something dollars. That's pretty awesome. So anyway, it's the 2-day tournament, super fun. But this year, it's April 15th through the 16th, which is also the Big Bass Tour on Table Rock Lake, which I live on Table Rock Lake. So it's like, do I do the Do I fish the Friday since the Table Rock Big Bass Tour is 3 day? Should I just fish the Friday? Hopefully, I catch a good fish on that, and then run up to Lake of the Ozarks and then fish the Bass for the 2 days. That's going to. I mean, obviously, first world problem right there. I don't know. but you can't miss it. So like I know I've been running on and going over these tournaments and going a little bit of detail on it, but I'm gonna throw this up on a podcast. So if you're listening, you'll have to get online and check them out. But if you're watching on YouTube, I'll have the links in the description for you. But yeah, check them out. The big bass tournaments are a lot of fun. They they present you with a lot of opportunities to get out there, kind of see how tournament fishing is. For those who are trying to get interested in tournament fishing, this is kind of a good introduction into how weigh-ins go, and just a little bit of the anxiety is a part of weighing in a fish. It does change, obviously, when you start doing five fish tournaments and all that, which I'll do a thing about that on another day. But so it's good. It's a good introduction to tournament fishing. It's fun. It's more laid back. A lot more chances to win some little bit of money, and just an overall good time. We've been doing it for years and years and years, and it's something that I always look forward to, these tournaments, more than any of the other tournaments that I fished throughout the year. And this year, I'm probably only going to fish big bass tournaments. I think that's the route I'm going to take. I might fish a solo pro series this year. Now that I moved down on Table Rock Lake, I really don't have a partner. So unless I can find me a partner, I don't know yet. I don't know. I kind of like fishing alone. Um, it's been fun fishing alone lately, get your mind straight and all that. But that's for another podcast. That's for another video. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm gonna try to put out more content like this year, podcast wise and video wise, just talking about things that I don't think a lot of people might be savvy on, might not know about, or maybe just has the wrong assumption on things, that's out there in the fishing world. There's a lot of bad actors that are making videos right now. One professional, air quote that, professional angler that's just making a fool of himself. So, and creating a divisive nature in the bass fishing world, even not even tournament wise, just people who fish. All right. But we'll talk about him another day. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm gonna put more content out like this. And if you have a topic that you want to hear about, let me know. If I missed anything in this, if you know another bass tournament that's out there, big bass tournament, let me know because I want to fish it. I want to get out there and I want to fish that tournament. So let me know what that's like, or let me know if I missed one so I can get that on the schedule. But yeah, I'll leave everything in the description for you guys, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks for stopping by.